Hello everyone, welcome back to good old Gelvin Valley Farming Simulator 15. On this wonderful map, I'm still enjoying by Wild Wild Wes. We're in the middle of baling, and we're hopefully getting close to the end. Matter of fact, I believe we're in the last field. Yeah? Whoop! Better turn the map off so I can drive. So maybe with a little luck, as we get through this episode, we'll be close to done with baling and I can take our machine back to the shop. And you know, a video or two ago, whenever it was, I mean, I got a couple of these in waiting, but still while I was baling, someone made a comment on the video and noted that bales aren't worth very much and that maybe my time would be better spent on something else other than baling. And you know, it's true, the bales aren't worth that much. I just figured, you know, everybody could see my negative cash position. I have a very patient anchor. Here, maybe I should turn on my GPS. Whoop. That's probably not the right angle. That probably isn't either. Oh, come on. Maybe that is. We'll see. We will see. But something I haven't done before it here is to do a simple cost benefit. I guess I just took the bales up there and assumed I was making money, but the person commenting, which was my friend Russell, said I may not really be making anything at all. So I figured what I would try to do this time, I'm going to have to do a little bit of maths, but I'm going to try to do a cost benefit calculation, if you will, just to see if I'm actually making any headway at all. And maybe I'm not. I mean, goodness knows, it seems like my cash position, you know, seems to do nothing but go down. I don't think that's the right angle. Oh, good grief. Always trying to figure out the details. Nope, that's the wrong angle too. Get it over here. Still seems like it's just a fuzz off. Let me try that. So I know I need to go back and figure out the rental cost of this wonderful machine that I've been operating for the past couple episodes, and I'm going to need to compare that to whatever I make by selling the bales. So I'm going to need to keep track of some things. I'm going to need to do, this isn't quite pointed the right way. Need to do a little bit of paperwork. This is still off, but it will help me finish this particular row. So each time I sell, I'm going to need to write it down, as they say. Maybe if I lift the front, yeah, I'm just going up a hill here, so it's going to struggle just a wee bit. I think I got it down. Yeah. Kind of. Except I'm still sort of out of alignment. I can't drive worth diddly squat. Which reminds me, isn't that the name of Jeremy Clarkson's farm? Diddly squat? Something like that. Let me see if that'll do it. Maybe I wasn't driving straight in here to begin with. That kind of looks... Maybe now I'm finally in alignment. So anyway, I will have a report on that at some point. Even as it is, I have about a half an hour to finish the field here. Hopefully I can do it in that and get these bales taken care of before it charges me for another hour. I just wonder if I need to turn it on and off again, use that little trick because it's having difficulty on the hills. There's another thing I decided to try too, and I'm going to start another series that I will do off and on. It's something I've wanted to try for a while, and it was something actually I had talked to my good friend Eustace Farmer about, but back when he was still with us. It almost seems hard to believe that he's been away for almost coming up on 2 years. But it was the idea. Oh, can't talk and chew bubble gum at the same time. There we go. But it was this idea of reading on YouTube. You know how like some people read books on tape or that kind of thing. I know I've listened to many of them over the years. I know lots of us have. The tricky thing with YouTube, at least as I understand it, is reading. You wouldn't be allowed to read something that still has an active copyright. However, there are many books or writings that have either never been copyrighted or where the copyrights have expired. And I think here in the U.S. copyright law is, 45 years? I don't know. And I think it can be renewed once. So you double that, it's 90 years. And so these books, if we read anything on here to be legit and not run afoul of any copyright violations, would need to be in the early 1900s. So I've already started checking some books out. And one of them that I remember reading as a kid was a book by author Zane Grey. He was kind of a Western writer here in the U.S., and so there was lots of stories he has of cowboys and those kinds of things. But he did have a few other books that were, I don't know, maybe you call them one-offs that weren't the same as the rest of what he had kind of in his genre, if you will. And so, like for example, one of them that I remember reading was on the Union Pacific. I think it's called Union Pacific Trail or UP Trail, something like that. And it's on the Union Pacific Railroad back when the Transcontinental Railroad was being built here in the U.S. Set kind of back in the what was that? Was that the 1860s would have been the Civil War. I think they started construction on it shortly following the war, so 1870s, 1880s. So in that, I mean, it's still sort of a type of Western, but it's more talking about trains, and I found it fascinating. I mean, they had a section in there on engineering, the route. I've always thought that would make a fascinating game. That's probably one of the few things that could pry me away from Farming Simulator, temporarily at least, would be a game on constructing a railroad, where you got to make decisions on where to make a cut, where to make a route, where to place a bridge, all those kinds of things. But no such game exists, at least not in the way that I would like it. But anyway, he had a book on that, and another one that he had that I'm interested in trying to read in this other series is called The Desert of Wheat. And so it's, again, it's set in a western area. It's one of my favorite regions of the world, southeast Washington, the Duluth area, mainly eastern Washington, period, kind of from Spokane in the north on south to Walla Walla, and then kind of northeast Oregon. There's a lot of wheat grown in that area, still to this day, and there has been, for 100, well over 100 years. I think back in the day when there was nobody here, or just the indigenous tribes and whatnot, it was primarily grassland, very few trees, to speak of, because there's so little of water. hence the term that Zane Grey uses, calling it a desert, which it basically is. But anyway, the book is set in about the year 1919, which incidentally is very close to the time when it was published. Well, I think it was published in 1919, right in the thick of World War I. I think it was still going at the time, and it names real places in the book. You know, it mentions Spokane and some meetings there. It mentions real issues, namely World War, the Great War, as it was known as at the time. And it also talks through certain issues that we had in our country here at the time. You know, the war was primarily fought, of course, with Germany, and there was German influences. I mean, there's been tons of immigrants to the U.S. from Germany back in the day. Maybe still to this day, there's some that come. And of course, at that time, when two nations are enemies, the other one's going to try to sabotage the other, and so they talk through this. I don't know if it was they called themselves a union, but really I think it was to try to aid Germany by disrupting things here in the U.S. So it's kind of historical fiction, if you will, where there's a germ of truth in it, as well as, you know, just a maybe just slow down, there we go, as well as, I mean, it's got a romance story built in, and then my favorite part of it is it's wheat, and it's in a region of the world that I really enjoy. That's very picturesque. I don't know if anybody listening to this has ever been to the Palouse, but it's these very hilly region, and it's just that the hills look like they're waves. You know, the region has sometimes been called an ocean of wheat because it just resembles, it doesn't, of course, doesn't resemble water. It looks like waves of wheat fields. I think I'm going to finish this in time. I wonder if I have to drive. I probably have to drive all the way to the store. But anyway, I had to pick, well, I say had to, I guess I could have done it in here. I didn't have to do anything. But there are still so many wonderful maps out there. And I know I've expressed before, maps are always my favorite kind of mod. And the way my nature is when I go into them, I plumb down routes and I stay for a while. You know, as anybody knows, it's followed Gelvin Valley here. We've been here quite a while. I'm knocking on the door of 200 episodes now. And really don't have any intentions to leave anytime soon. And usually, once I start a farm, I don't ever really quit. At least in terms of removing the save game file or that kind of thing. So it's always something I can come back to as long as I save the mods. So, you know, I picked another, let me shoot the bales out here. Folks, I think we are done. Yeah? I see bales in all of my fields as I look around, so I think we are done. We fold this up and we are going to head back to the store. I think I may make a little bit more if I take it there myself, so I'm just going to do that here while we're going. Oh, come on, don't stop on me. But there are so many wonderful maps, and so here of late I've been looking a number of them up, and you know, I know I've mentioned before, I tend to prefer the larger maps, the 4X to 16X, and there were a bunch of large ones. There's always a few with each version, and a lot of times the problem you run into with some of the maps is they're unfinished, you know, because large maps, I mean, they take a lot of dedication to finish. Most of them don't necessarily have a ton of detail, So they can tend to be unfinished, full of errors. You got to be a little patient sometimes playing the larger ones, but there's some really nice ones out there too. And so I think for this next series, I wanted to try a larger map, and it's called, ironically, it's a German map. I read a book kind of on the war with Germany, and as said on the home front, if you will, back in the day. But it's a German map. It's called Thüringer. I think that's how you say it in German. In English, I mean, it starts off with a TH, so I'd probably say, oh, where am I going? Where am I going? I'd probably call it Thüringer or something like that, but I think in German it's Thüringer or something like that. I'm sure if I'm saying it wrong, if anybody's aware of that, they'll let me know. You know, I could probably keep this here tractor and or could I use my own? I'm trying to see if I need to get another tractor, rent a tractor, maybe to save money so I don't break the bank like Russell is suggesting. Maybe I use... No, there's probably a speed factor involved. You know what? I'm going to keep the tractor. I know it's spendy, but I'll see what I can do here. Alright, let me offload the baler. You know what? I probably should turn the tractor back. I gotta wash it. I have another half hour, right? Isn't that what it said? 20 minutes. Oh, yes, it's... How do I... Ah, goodness. I don't have my help menu. Always turns that off. I need to know... Right control. There we go. I got 20 minutes left. Let me get a trailer. I think I gotta go to mods to pick all these bales up. And I gotta remember I have some up the hill, so that's gonna be the first place that I go. Let me see here. Maybe it's under bale. Why is it hiding from me? Baling technology are there. Marshall traders. I think these are the ones that... Alright, let me get a blue one. I'm going to rent and let me give myself 3... That's not that expensive. 4 hours? Rent. Okay. Because I think, if I'm mistaken, I'm going to need to turn it back immediately. But I think they have an auto load feature on here. There we go. Oh, wait a minute. Show legal help. Toggle product type. There we go. Except I don't know where it's putting it. Let's see. Straw round bales, hay round bales. That's what I'm going to be picking up. And loading type. I want automatic. Alright, let's get up the hill. And by hill, I mean this one dead ahead. Because clear up by the radio tower, we have some round bales. You may recall many episodes ago, we cut some hay up here at the request of the townsfolk, and now we're going to go pick our bales up. Hopefully none of them have rotted. And we got to climb up here. And our trailer is fairly long. I got to make sure I don't drape it down over the edge. This is miserable steep in here. wonder if we would actually do this in real life. Come up a steep hill like this just to haul some heavy bales down. Yeah, I'd probably be taking our life in our hands. Not to mention anybody else that happened to be coming up at the same time. But anyway, there may have been an episode released already, even as I talk about it. I haven't released any Two Ringer episodes yet. I have a few of them done, and my intention is to read all the way through this particular novel and until it's done. Oh yeah, we got so many up here. It's been long enough that the grass has grown up around them already. Alright, I don't know if we can hold square bales at the same time. There we go. Yeah, you drive too fast, whatever. Hear the wind blow. So when I do it on this other farm on Two Ringer, I believe it's a 4X map, so there's plenty to do. I know one of the things I already did is I removed a number of the fields. I mean, it started you off with a major portion of the map. I'd like to give myself a little challenge. Why does this keep telling? You know what? I am just gonna turn this to manual. Toggle load type. Okay. B is load products. Okay. Yeah, I think I need to manually press the button. Shoot, I was doing that anyways. Hopefully I can get all of them while I'm up here. And of course, anytime I play a map, I can't help myself but start modding it just a little bit. So I know in this other one, I'm already doing a little bit of work on the textures, you know, which seemed a little wonky for, I think some of the oats. I brought in a different texture, and the wheat, some of the distance textures. You know, it's the graphic requirements asked of a computer, you know, to run this game. These are things that are over my head, you know, in terms of understanding. But it must be asking quite a lot of the computer to run it, because some of the textures you use, or the dreaded viewing circle, if you will, we don't really notice it so much here. But you can see far in the distance that the textures aren't as good a quality, you know, as they are in the foreground. Now, is there any bales down over the hill? I don't think so. In fact, is there any other bales up here, period? I'm not sure there is, folks. Alright, well, I don't know that I can put any square bales on top of this. I'm just looking here at the map. I'm not seeing any other bales. Alright, this will be good enough. I think we got them all. Turn on our beacons and try to take this hill. See out the cab. Probably because it changes the viewing angle depending on the slope. I don't know. So anyway, stay tuned for that. It takes me twice as long, basically, to make an episode, because I can't, everybody's seen me drive, I can't walk and chew bubble gum at the same time, so there's no way I can really read while playing the game. I mean, I need to focus on the screen. So what I do is I just record an episode, just farming, just enjoying the farm or whatever, doing whatever farm work needs to be done, and then I come in behind it and read over the top of what I'm doing till the timer goes or whatever. So I'm going to call that series Let's Read. I don't know that I've ever seen a Let's Read series. Definitely not on Farming Simulator, so we'll see if anybody comes to listen to it. And, you know, it's probably a big ask to expect someone to listen to it all the way through. Because if you listen to one and you miss another, well, now the story is kind of just in the middle, be a little disjointed, if you will. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes, and at the end of the day, it's the whole point is to exercise my voice. So that is what will be done. I think. Yeah, in order to sell these bales, I gotta drive quite a ways. What Russell suggested, and I do want to get into it at some point, is maybe to save these bales for the animals. And you know what? There's grass everywhere, so I know I can make more. It should be pretty easy. So for the moment, I'm gonna just sell these. But I do want to get into animals at some point too, so definitely want to do that, but I just have no moolah in the bank. Oh, yep, we're going to drive right through him. Hopefully nobody's coming. I want to keep my momentum, what little of it I have. Head on up this here hill. I almost think the tractor we have back on the farm can almost do this well. Although maybe I went down into single digits. I might not be remembering that quite the way it actually is. That is just one whale of a hill. Yeah, so I think when I dump them here, I'm going to go across. I'm not going to go back down and around. I'm going to kind of head a different direction to... Oh, but I still have to feel, yeah, I'm going to have to do some of that, whether I like it. What am I turning this way for? Oh yeah, I had to turn here anyhow. It's been a little while since I've sold bales, so I got to remember where to sell them. Alright, help me out here. Toggle unload side. And does it say where? Back, right, trailer, left. You know, I think, didn't I build the trigger out here? I'm just gonna, yeah, I'm definitely in the trigger. So let me do it right on the trailer. Unload is O. Okay, front part is out of the... Wait a minute, how do I know how much money I've made if I can't sell if it's doing it at a bale at a time? Oh, for goodness sakes. Alright, I'm gonna have to do that a little bit different. Let me try it now. There we go. Let me see here. Finances. Will this tell me harvest income? No. Oh, it's putting it in other, probably. 18,740, but I don't see. This is today's finances. I don't know. Well, what I do see, and I'll write this down, is 220 a bale, 220 per round bale. And how many of them did I have? That was a dumb move. I should have counted them. So let me see here. Well, I know what I'll do. Oh, when I look at the video, I'll be able to tell exactly how many I had on there. Maybe it's 13. I don't know if it was 6 rounds on a side. Ooh, almost clipped that fence off. blimey, this is a long trailer. Alright, I'm going to head across the top. We'll deal with the field in front of us at some point. You know, another thing I could do, I'm totally ignoring traffic. Another thing I could do, as I'm not sure if it's in here or not, would be to install chopped straw so that I'm able to kind of mulch it into the soil after harvest. But also with the troubles I've had in low crop prices and everything based on how the game engine works, next time I probably need to plant something that doesn't even have straw. You know, both wheat and barley are kind of screwed up at the moment, depressed, because I've put so much, you know, sold so much of it. So next time maybe I need to do a run of canola on the whole farm. That's not going to generate any straw, although I probably could put in a mod, you know, that would make for straw. Or corn. I know I can do a little bit of silage, but I don't think the price of silage is very good. I mean, it generally is in Farm Sim 15, but this particular map, Wes made sure to depress it a little bit, and I know I could edit the ad on the map, but I don't want to do that. So anyway, everybody heard the bell, so that's kind of some plans that I have coming. Doing a reading series on Tuninger, and see, make sure I can stay on the road. Reading Desert of Wheat, and doing a little cost benefit on the bales. So thank you so much for coming along. I will meet you here again on the next one. Goodbye for now.